go. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. This is our Kids on Bikes role-playing game episode 26, Teen Wolf. You know, it's a pretty important thing when this and the two previous episodes have all been directed at one character in particular. So this is the culmination of Billy's transformation into full-blown wolfman slash dog if you will. The Billigy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this short arc is now called the Billigy, the werewolf Billigy. All right, well, we will do a short recap in a few moments and bring everybody up to speed, and then we will get back into the action for this session. Couple quick announcements, as always. If you look over in the upper right-hand corner, up above where Tamiko and Em are, you will see an array of red, white, and blue terrain treats domain pops, +1 to fun. Those are, of course, a way that you, the audience, can have a bit of an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gift subs, tips, cheering, 500 bits. All those things will earn domain pops for the players that they can then use as similar to adversity tokens in the game. They can spend them by adding +1 for each domain pop to their dice rolls when necessary. Or they can spend 5 of them to make themselves or anyone else roll on the D100 mystery grab bag roll table, where only good things happen. Unless you roll one of the bad results. We've had a few. I think at this point we've rolled about 5 times on the chart, and it's been pretty wild where all that's gone. Absolutely encourage people to donate for these things, and also encourage the players to spend them. I think the last one was Chad rolling on the table. So I'm going to, as we're already people showing off how these things work, I'm going to bring us up to speed so I don't forget these. And of course, when you spend them, as I bring these to where they belong, you get to hear and see this. So that's domain pops.
Favorite thing.
We also have I've lost my train of thought. Type ! Schedule and you'll see what games we have going on. And occasionally you can find different of us over at different channels. Later this month you'll find myself and Jeremy, Chad and Carrie all over on Erasmus Expeditions for the finale, the final act of our fiasco game. And Ted, I honestly don't know. I looked at the chat and I still don't know whether or not we're playing tomorrow.
We're not.
Okay, so in November, possibly twice, you will catch Ted and I over on Nerdarchy for the Old Guard. Robin, they do an amazing job with telling the story in what we've described as a sort of a Da Vinci punk setting. And in our last episode, we had a couple of big revelations. There's a bit of a murder mystery, and we all play really old, retired adventurers that have come out for one last mission. And
Jake's character is very upset with mine. So there's a lot of fun drama going on.
Ted got in character yelled at. It was a lot of fun. I got to lay into Ted in our last game. So yeah, you can check that. And of course, you can go to Nerdarchy.
I like in character yelling.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done it. That actually, you can see some really good in character yelling over on. Check out Momentum Whispers and Fragments over on Jeremy's channel, Erasmus Expedition. Jeremy sat back for 90 minutes that game while we just role played, and it was brilliant. And there was a lot of yelling in that game. It was amazing. But yeah, you can catch several others of us on other channels, and If you're watching on the VOD, of course, I've got everybody's links to their various social medias and channels on there as well. I want to get into the game, so I'm going to just tell you right now, just 2 quick things. One, remember that we as players have safety tools in place. We have discussed our lines and veils, and we have safety tools in place so that we can keep one another safe at the gaming table, because sometimes the character descriptions, the language, and the subject matter, sometimes emotionally intense, sometimes physically intense, sometimes things like body horror and other elements like that. It can get pretty out there, and we just want you to know if that's happening. And if you're not into that kind of thing, or you might be offended by it, then you need to instead head over to youtube.com/miniterraindomain and look up Legend of Eleonora, a celebrity charity game that we ran recently, or any other amazing VODs that are available on the channel. We just want to look out for you as well to make sure you know what's coming. And finally, speaking of looking out for you, we want you to know that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are a number of reasons why people might be struggling, physical, emotional, various things that can be going on in your life. First off, it is okay to not be okay. But you do not have to struggle alone. You can come into our chat anytime, day or night, and you can type !help, as I believe Jeremy has already done. And a couple URLs pop up. They'll also show up here at the bottom of the screen as well. They are findahelpline.com, or you can check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you all to Paradise, Michigan. All right. Also, I want to, because a whole bunch of things just happened with a hype train and stuff, so I want to make sure that I don't miss all of your due domain pops. Carrie, that resubscription, was that outside of the gifted subs?
Yes.
Okay, and then when there was a G Battle Rock. Okay, there you go. I want to make sure you have all the pops you are due. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that there's 4 more.
When I adjusted from 35 to 41, did I not do my math right?
I know, I'm totally fucking with you, Jake.
Okay, no, I'm just making. I'm making sure, because I have been known to get my math wrong.
Don't piss him off. Don't piss him off right now. Come on, be a pal.
Carrie's especially sensitive about what might be happening.
I'm directing his
I think you're doing math
me.
great. I think you should be confident in your math abilities.
30. We were at 4. No, I think I did miss a number. No, we were at 35, and then you gifted 5 subs,
Tamiko
which
gifted
put
5.
us at 40. Oh yeah, and then the bits and the other stuff. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Did you get M's?
Got M's. Got my sub.
No, I did not.
And then
M's was a resub outside of the gift, so no, I did not get M's. See, that's why I checked. Especially, I'm telling you, you've especially got to make sure when the players are contributing to their own dice pool that you give them what they deserve, because they will let you know. All right, with that, recently things have gotten very intense for all of you, as you are proving to be the 1980s kids and teenagers that, quite frankly, you don't take any shit from the adults. Especially Billy. Billy's in no mood to deal with director Ashley Raven, and very much stood up to her, but also got a taste of her power as she sort of manifested in the space between heartbeats, you could say, and basically told him, you have no idea what is about to happen to you. And they are happy to sit back and watch things unfold. But all of you almost all of you, I should say, have begun to feel the incredible effects of Paradise. You have, of course, learned that there are ley lines and nexus points all over town. In fact, when you stole some items from Dr. K's secret lab, among them, Coop got a pair of sunglasses that allows you to actually see the ley lines and the nexus points. There was also a strange device that, when paired with a mysterious black orb marble that a seemingly homeless drunk gave to Rosie one day, it caused a reconfiguration of this device, which has manifested unique properties in changing its shape, and has already seemed to function, at least to some degree, as a detector of ley magic, if you will, being either the ley lines themselves or when special abilities influenced by the ley lines are being used. Who knows what else that device may hold, but what we have seen is at least one of you has an older self that has appeared, so Oak knows that at some point in his future he's going to be left behind, apparently. Coop has developed some sort of telekinetic or telepathic abilities. Jessica has the ability to phase through objects, but also has a mirror self that has manifested in the real world that is incredibly strong. And Billy, of course, has the most outward transformation, as he was apparently enacted upon him was the cryptid protocol. And with the appearance of the full moon, at least a good 2 to 3 hours before everybody assumed when it was going to happen, Billy has transformed into full-blown wolf / dogman. Unfortunately, at least so far, neither Rosie nor Laz has manifested any sort of special abilities. Most recently, after leaving the sheriff's deputy and director Ashley Raven, you headed to your third contingency meeting place, the lighthouse on the beach, thinking this was the best place for Billy to be away from people. Rosie skipping rocks on the lakeshore as the sun dipped lower and lower on the horizon. Jessica, Anne, and Billy having some important conversations, while Coop, Oak, and Laz have begun to set up camp in the top of the lighthouse. That's when the moon, which had already been in the daytime sky, the moment the sun dipped below the horizon, Billy's bones began to snap and crack, his joints sounding like every joint in his body was popping like knuckles. Bones and legs and his face and other his overall proportions changing, growing taller, hair growing all over his body, basically rapid growth, puberty, in the form of also turning into a wolf that just suddenly howled. And through a series of dice rolls, and because of the events in which the characters have placed themselves, the first thing Billy sees is Rosie
give me that shit.
at the lakeshore.
Don't give me that shit.
And he is immediately, muscles coiled up, tensing to take off. But on either side of him, immediately next to him, are Jessica and Anne. And as we prepare to jump into this action, I am going to use a new... I already let the players know this, but in Kids on Bikes, there's typically not initiative, and there's typically not round-based combat. However, because of the importance of this, we're going to slow things down a little bit, and I'm going to have you all roll me flight checks. As per usual... Go ahead.
I said, can I ask one question that has a minor rewind that should not affect anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
If there is the suspect that, Billy is going to transform, and I think that was explained in the narrative beforehand. I think he didn't want his stuff getting messed up. So could he have taken his like shoes and bag and like left them either in the lighthouse or at the lighthouse before he walked off with Jessica and Anne?
Yeah, there's no reason that you couldn't have given it to... I think we've already established as well in this game that when there's an absence in a character, I don't know, randomly turns into a cat or a comic book, your stuff is either with you or your friends have your stuff. Think of it like magic pockets in Baldur's Gate. If you have something important, the other players have access to it. So yes, absolutely, the kids upstairs probably have your stuff.
Okay, I just
Nope, good point.
I don't know how.
Oh,
much
good
of a
question. I don't think so. I'm just asking a good question though, Jake.
It only explodes if the die reaches.
No, so
its max.
an explosion only occurs if you actually roll the die at max value.
But
yeah, so I exploded and then I rolled again. Do I add +2 or is it just still +1?
No, it's the +1 to the overall dice roll.
Yeah.
Yep, good question.
End. That would affect me too, Em. So
I want to make sure. So first, I want to look at the lighthouse kids. We got Coop with a 7, Laz with a 2, and Oak with an 8. So that's 15, 16, 17. So the average of that is, what is that? 5.2, something like that.
Something like that. Good for you. Wow,
so
Jake.
That's
great
gonna
math.
Be 5. I can do basic D&D math really fast. RPG math. Billy, you got...
I'm sitting at a 3.
Rosie
7
is a 7. Jessica
14.
14. And I haven't rolled for Anne yet. So Anne, where's Anne's flight? Anne has a D10 for flight. Anne with a 2. Let me just double check because Anne has a couple of abilities as well. So you know what? Because of the importance of this, I'm going to use Anne's lucky ability, and I'm going to. I have given Anne, because of just where we're at, I've given Anne a small pool of adversity tokens. She's spending 2 of those, and now has a 6, so it's a little bit better. Okay. What that means is, Jessica, you are going to be first. Rosie, you're going to go second. Anne is going to go third. The Lighthouse kids are going to go 4th, and Billy, you are last in this initiative. And I mentioned it before, and Ted, you know, Billy you have for Wolf Billy, you have your own unique set of stats and abilities. I am going to leave the interpretation of how you play Feral Billy up to you, but I will interject at certain points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled with the decisions I have to make, but
right.
I know how to, play the
no
character
metagaming, Billy.
Absolutely.
No, not at all.
So with that,
we ended with Rosie being the target, so
yep.
That's where he's clearly headed.
So with that, as we jump into the action, as the last of Billy's bones sort of snap and reshape into place, Billy's head whips back and a feral howl escapes, screaming up into the sky at the moon. Jessica, you and Anne immediately notice as Billy lowers his head and tenses his muscles to begin a charge towards Rosie, who has just turned. There's basically, I got to imagine it's not more than about 50 feet between the two of them as they've spotted each other. And Jessica, it is your turn to first decide what you would like to do.
So Jessica sees. I almost like to imagine that, we are slowing it down roleplay wise, but I imagine time slows down in this scene as Jessica sees the transformation and is preparing herself for the whatever this evening is going to be of trying to keep Billy safe with Anne. But as she turns to look, she sees Rosie. I imagine Rosie had just finished skipping a rock and is like turning towards the howl that has just started. And immediately, as soon as Jessica sees Rosie, the scene from when they were both sitting on the beach and Jessica was laying down and Rosie and her had a really good conversation. And they were both just laying on the beach, just suntanning as girls do. Like that moment of just like friendship, she sees that. And as she turns back and she sees Billy focus on Rosie, she is going to throw herself like trying to mess up Billy's momentum by just throwing her body weight in, because she's not as strong as Anne, but she's hoping that she can just divert him. While she's doing so, she wants to scream, "Rosie, run!"
Okay, so
man.
you're attempting to throw your body weight.
So, yeah.
So
man.
I think what this is going to be is an opposed brawn check. So that means Billy and Anne, or sorry, Billy and Jessica, you are each going to roll brawn. Billy, don't forget, you have the tough strength.
Can't tell if that's good or bad. Ted has such a poker face.
All right, Jessica, what do you got?
Well, I can't give things away. That would spoil.
Everyone, Billy has the tough trait.
Billy over here built like a Mack truck, and we're just like, no, don't, no, stop it.
Jessica,
I got a 4.
Jessica got a 4. Billy, what'd you get?
All right. What does tough do?
Tough allows you. I just had it. It's if you lose a combat roll, you can add +3 to the negative number. You still lose the roll no matter what, but you reduce the amount by which you lose.
Okay. Well, because I rolled like shit, even though I had a good die. I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2, so what that means is you're adding a +3. So that would hold on. See, all of a sudden I can't do basic math. So so you technically have a 5. You still
well, that would put it to a 5. I still lose, but I somehow have a higher number. I don't know how that works.
So I think what happens in this situation, I'm going to tell you what happens, and the two of you share the narration. Jessica, it's a net, basically a net zero effect. Neither of you are harmed by this, but it doesn't have the desired effect you want. So the two of you, Jessica, you start off saying what this looks like, and Ted, you can finish off with how you respond to this action.
Sure.
Yeah, imagine Jessica is. Oh, so I imagine that Jessica is trying to, like I said, throw her body weight at Billy, just trying to get him off course. But I think the panic and I think the concentration and the whole situation freaks her out, and she sees her hand phase through Billy.
Excellent.
So as you begin to kind of like phase through, I imagine there's the momentary acknowledgement of you're an obstacle in my path, but it's not anything that's strong enough to divert me. So I imagine he just kind of like takes his left paw, if you will, and just kind of like grabs you by the shoulder and just pushes you aside and continues to move towards Rosie without even really acknowledging the presence, or even that your hand was pushing through.
And it's very much one of those things like when you try to grab at something and you just miss, but in this case, Jessica, as you're grabbing and he's pushing away the part of you that's still solid, I guess. Instead of just missing, it's you literally passing your hand through him. Sand kicks up towards you and Anne as Billy takes the first huge strides towards Rosie. Rosie, you hear Jessica yell, "Run!" And you see wild, feral wolf Billy charging at you. What do you do, Rosie?
So I guess I would probably, Rosie has been skipping rocks. She's barefoot, because we're on the beach and she didn't want to leave her sneakers on so close to the water. And so she would like, the first thing she would probably do kind of dumbly is she would run the couple of steps to where her bat is laying in the sand, and she would like grab it. Like, I don't know any of us Americans here, if you remember the shuttle run when we were in elementary school and we had to like plant and scoop and go. That's kind of what she does. She like runs and almost like skids a little bit in the sand, grabs her bat, and then she starts to run away from Billy. How close is he at this point?
About 40 feet.
Are you running away from me or running towards the tower? The lighthouse.
So neither. I'm running away from you and I'm running away from the lighthouse. I don't want to lead you towards the lighthouse where everybody else is.
That means you're running south on the beach. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Rosie's trying to stay near the water where the sand is kind of still hard. Like, so, like, it's harder and more packed down. If you've ever run on the beach, it's easier to run where the waves have kicked than not. So she would get near, like, where I imagine there's a sheen on the sand and just be hauling ass.
Rosie, make me a flight check. Okay, we are currently dealing with about a 8-second delay, just FYI.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend. Yeah, I'm gonna spend 3 pops, and I'm gonna make that a 5. Unless
Billy,
it's not gonna do jack shit, in which case I suppose you could save us the pops.
Billy is going to make
Glorious
a flight check.
Gia. Okay.
So, Billy, this is a contested check.
Okay,
So
what am I rolling?
You're rolling a flight check.
I have my bat. Everything's fine when I have my bat.
That would be an 8.
So, Rosie, you rolled. You
I'm
said
not
you
gonna-
rolled what? Your actual dice roll was.
A 2.
So you would have to spend 6 pops.
I'm getting caught.
Okay. So what that means, if you're going to let that stand, is we have a
I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna fucking fight him. I'm gonna fucking hit him. I'm gonna fucking hit him with my bat, and you're gonna die, Billy. Today's the day. Today is the end.
Okay, so here's how this plays out based on our narrative results. Billy?
I did use some pops.
No, you didn't. If you're not gonna spend because
No,
this
I'm not gonna spend enough to
yeah,
win.
this is a visible roll, you're not wasting pops.
It's aluminum, Jeremy.
So
No, it's not. It's wood.
Billy, you narrate what your attack looks like, how you close the 40 feet to Rosie and are able to get to her. And Rosie, you are going to explain how you respond based on Rosie's response. Ted or Billy, you will explain how whatever Rosie does barely, if at all, prevents you from succeeding. That makes sense? Billy, start with your description of how you close the distance, and then Rosie, you pick it up from there. How you respond.
Okay.
So complete lupine scenario. He's taking long strides, punching over. I imagine at times he's like leaning down with elongated arms to just get extra purchase in the sand. And is just covering the distance far faster than what you would expect any humanoid would be capable of, because he's not a normal human. You've seen fast baseball players before, and I'm moving much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So before you know it, Rosie, Billy is on you.
Like literally on me, or
so
like close
he's
to me?
He's coming in for a pounce.
Okay.
I mean,
He's
as a wolfen creature. That's what's there, but it's not up to my initiative yet. So
he's there. He's made it to you. How do you respond?
So knowing how close he is, Rosie would just turn and fucking swing. I think eventually she knows she can't outrun him. She would just turn and as hard as she can throw her whole body into it and just try to pop him right in his dumb
in this
face.
instance, since we've already resolved this part of the action and we know that you failed, Billy, how do you prevent Rosie from actually boom?
I grab the bat in my teeth.
Oh yeah, you swing the bat around and Billy's head whips up and you just see that full, barely even recognizable as Billy, as these powerful jaws snap down onto your bat, and he now has your bat in his jaws. And Doug in Texas in chat got his wish. You basically gave the dog man a stick. It is now Anne's turn. And
shut up, Tamiko. Damn you and your adorable
Tamiko
illustrations.
I'm here for
Tamiko with the instant posted illustrations.
Hey, it's lighthearted in a very stressful situation. So Tamiko, I'm here for it.
Thanks, Tamiko.
Next entity T-shirt.
Yep. It'll be whatever however many these end up being. It'll just be all the post-its on the shirt.
Right. Oh,
Jessica.
Yes.
You see this as this is all happening. I'm picturing this scene sort of playing out very much like the 300. So there's moments of rapid action punctuated with these brief moments of slow motion. So as Jessica grabbed, there was that slow motion, then suddenly the burst of speed as Billy gets there. Slow motion, Rosie swinging the bat around, chomp down on it. Anne looks over at you, Jessica, and you just see her coil her body up in the same way that Billy did. And with an incredible burst of speed, kicks up sand behind you two, and she takes off across the sand. And she is going to attempt... The way I'm going to do this, because what Anne is going to attempt to do is close the distance to Billy And before she's even there, she's going to leap in the air and attempt to tackle Billy. If she screws up her flight check, it's really going to mess her. The ability to do that second part is entirely dependent on her ability.
Depend on the first
to her ability to succeed on the first one. So, in this case, I got to think this one through because it's not really, the running part isn't a contest because Billy, you already ran and closed the distance. So we need a DC that makes sense here to close 40 feet in a matter of seconds.
While Jake does mental math, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of great logos like this one that I'm wearing. That I think the one that Jeremy is still wearing is still available somewhere. And all kinds of other stuff. You can get them on tank tops, hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeved and short sleeved, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Hey, Jake, don't forget that Jessica is a track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
So I am giving this...
Her name's on a plaque somewhere.
I'm giving this a DC of
Doesn't talk
8.
about it.
Anne has a D10 in flight. So this isn't a given that Anne's going to do this. Speed isn't her strong suit. So I'm rolling the D10 for Anne. I've lost the D10 for Anne. Okay, so Anne got a 6. I am also going to, for fairness sake, I will not make a decision on the spending of domain pops for Anne. You, the players, will decide. In fact, M, with consultation from your peers, you decide whether or not and how many Anne uses, since she's your counterpart. So Anne has missed the DC by 2. So it sounds like you guys are spending 2 domain pops to make Anne a success. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we have a level of fairness involved in this and that I'm not spending your guys' pops. So Anne has succeeded in closing the distance. Boom, burst of speed. Now this will be a contested roll. Anne is going to attempt to tackle using her fight versus Billy's brawn. It does not matter, Billy, that you are distracted by biting a bat and confronting Rosie. This will be fight versus brawn. Anne is rolling a D20. Billy, what'd you get?
I have a 9.
Anne rolled a 10.
Oh.
So that is by 1.
Or something along those lines.
Okay. So, Billy, as you've grabbed hold of this bat and you're sort of holding onto the bat, Rosie, you just see Anne appear out of the darkness on the beach, leaping through the air. She grabs hold of Billy around these much taller, muscular, hairy shoulders. And the way she grabs him, using her momentum, she kind of throws her arms around him, wrapping another arm this way, and kicks her feet towards the beach so that she's using her body weight to pull Billy down into the sand. So as that happens, that means that Billy still got the bat. Rosie, you have to decide, are you going to let go of the bat or still hold on to it?
I would be pulling on my bat. Rosie would be like,
make a quick.
This has all happened so fast.
Make a quick brawn check.
Sorry, yeah. Okay. Brawn. Okay, I'm good at brawn. Brawn is gonna go great. Here we go. No, okay, that's a 3. That's a 3.
So we see Anne do this almost like WWE move as she grabs hold of Billy and kind of pulls him down to the ground. And Billy gets kind of pulled sideways from the momentum, grabbing the bat, pulling with it, because you're not letting go, you get yanked forward like a dog on a leash, and you are also slammed down on the ground. So now the three of them are on the ground. Lighthouse kids, you have all heard the howl, and looking out through the glass of the lighthouse, you see all of this transpiring in the last 2 seconds.
Lighthouse kids.
That's the spin-off series from Paradise, Michigan. It's the Lighthouse Kids. What just happened?
Okay. Holy cow. I don't know.
We skipped forward in time. We missed over part of what Jake said.
What?
Oh
It's
my
okay.
goodness.
We're all together now.
What did you...
No, I could hear
It
you.
like
I could hear you.
you started breaking up, and then we got like chunks of what you said all like mushed together.
That explains why nobody laughed at my joke, so...
It was very funny. I thought it was funny. I was
yeah.
typing.
I don't. I didn't hear all of it, so
I did
I'm
not
sure it
hear
was hilarious.
so.
It boils down to
Basically, get
Lighthouse
the
Kids,
lighthouse.
what do you do?
USSR, joke tell you.
I will hear a joke and rewatch.
I remember. So we're all up here at the top of the lighthouse. I imagine we'll just cut back a little bit to immediately when Billy takes off. I imagine we're at the front of the lighthouse looking at Billy like running, and you know, like when kids are following the transition of like a either awesome shit or like horrifying things because they're fascinated by horrible things as well. They're like, oh my god, what the hell's happening, right? We're tracking it, and then immediately, like, we see obviously Rosie's in trouble. So Oak's brain goes into how do we fix this, and how do we fix this now? There's no way that Oak and Coop are getting down those stairs to go fight a werewolf. That's not happening. I know that. So I think Oak looks to you, Laz, and to you, Coop, and he starts racking his brain for the things that they have. Obviously, we have like the cool new dodecahedron thing. I don't know how to use it yet. Working on it. But I think that Oak's gonna look to you, Coop, first. Coop! Okay, man. Listen, I need your help. What do you got in that bag of yours?
What?
What do you got in that bag of yours?
I don't know! Coop opens up his backpack and just dumps it out. Here are
Okay.
here are the things that fall out. The
Let's-
contents in
Let's just focus real quick. We got
Several rocks. Half of a
Okay.
peanut butter and jelly. Hogs.
I know you. I know you got a lot of rocks. How about you got one that's like a prism or a crystal? You got one like that?
I've got the meteorite.
Okay.
He picks it up and tosses it, granny style, to Oak.
Oak holds this this meteorite now.
And while you're
and
holding
then-
it, you feel
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah. For a moment, he's like,
No,
"Okay,
you
that-
literally feel stronger.
that feel what? Okay.
Hell
yeah. And then,
let's go.
Nothing in
Oak-
here is gonna help us. And Coop just starts scooping everything back in.
Okay. He
Scoop,
looks
scoop.
to he looks to Laz. Okay, buddy. I'm gonna need your help, man. I think I got an idea, and it's crazy, but it might work. You remember when in science class when they teach how light refracts off crystals and creates like rainbows? What if we could do that, but like with silver?
You mean like on the dark side of the moon?
Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
Okay.
You got that silver bar
maybe.
in your. You got that silver bar in your bag, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to destroy it. I promise. I want to try something.
He's already got his backpack off his shoulder, and he's digging through there for that precious bar of silver that he's got.
So meanwhile, all of this is happening in mere seconds. Oak is now trying to figure out how all of this will work, but in his head, he knows they're at a nexus point, and he knows that weird shit happens at nexus points. So what his idea is to take a silver bar, refract the light of the lighthouse off of it, and basically create the D&D spell Moonbeam to attack a werewolf with a silver beam of light.
Serious question,
Wow.
though. Does the lighthouse work?
At night.
I
Okay,
assume it
Serious
would,
question. Is it night or is it sunset right now?
but
The
it's
sun is
different.
dipped below the horizon, and it's rapidly become. We're going full 80s cinematics,
Yep.
so there is no twilight. It's just suddenly full dark.
It's gonna be midnight 1 minute from now. Got it.
Also-
Perfect, thanks.
Exactly.
Also,
10 seconds midnight.
wherever we need to do it narratively, don't worry about. This isn't D&D, so it's not 6 seconds per round.
No.
where
I'm
we
just
where we
imagining,
split the
in
timing
terms
of what was happening on the beach, sort of round by round. We're also doing movie timing, where when we cut to you, Lighthouse Kids, you could take 3 minutes to do something that in reality, only 10 seconds has passed. I'm not worried about time lining up. I will say,
but
I will say,
I'm just
based
trying
on
to make sure we get this done.
based on what you're attempting to do, there are a lot of steps involved. Step 1, you need to figure out how to turn
I'm
on the
here for
lighthouse.
it.
The lighthouse currently is not on.
It's
I
not
think-
on! See, I told you!
The light isn't on.
I think
So
Oak
you need
knows
to
how
figure
to
out.
do that, because if I remember correctly, he got electrocuted. I remember the last time we were in the ancient lighthouse, Oak got electrocuted
Ancient.
by turning it on. So he knows how to turn it on.
Yep, you do.
Okay. Laz, you're gonna be the stronger one, so I'm gonna need you to move the lighthouse, I'm gonna need you to move the light in place. Okay?
Just a quick note, because I
cool.
don't know what got lost in. I had a really bad lag spike there.
That's okay.
Coop gave you the rock, right?
Coop gave me the meteorite, yes.
Right. You could give that
Right.
to Laz,
I could move
Bec-
the light.
or
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
no,
use it
yeah.
if you're
I'll
because
toss the meteorite
mechanically.
to Laz.
Mechanically, we know that the meteorite provides. I forget the bonus. Tamiko knows it, but it's a bonus to strength rolls.
It is a +2 to brawn checks.
Okay, then I'll hand that off to Laz, because I have poop in brawn, so we'll definitely do that.
Okay,
I'll hand the rock off to Laz.
so Oak, you're turning on the lighthouse, and you're relying on
going-
Laz to turn the light toward the scene, towards Billy
toward
the
the
Wolfman.
fight scene. Yep.
And Coop, what are you doing?
I don't know, jiggling the silver bar?
Okay, so
We're
you're
trying
holding.
to get the,
So you're
we're gonna
holding.
try
Trying
get
to. We've got to try to be
align
like
the silver
okay,
bar.
okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Align
there'll
the
be that
silver
one
bar.
moment where I refract the light directly into my eyes and Coop's blind for the next 2 sessions. It'll
So-
be
There
great.
be a spot in a PS5 game where you use the touchpad.
This is gonna
Like
be
moving around.
interesting. So I'm gonna have a couple different rolls take place. Oak, you do not need to roll to turn on the lighthouse, because as you said, you already know how to turn on the lighthouse. Instead,
Yep.
you're gonna love this. Roll me a D100.
Oh
There
no!
is
Never good.
there is a 20% chance that you get electrocuted again.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think it should be
I'm
higher
okay
than
with
that. Bump that fucker up.
I am okay with that. Let's.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
This is
I'll roll
ratty
a,
as hell.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna roll a D6. The D6 will
From
determine the
this-
percentage, so it's not 100.
Okay.
It's now 50%.
Half and
you
half,
know that-
baby.
We just had an EMP go off in Paradise.
Half and
I mean,
half,
this
let's
fucker,
go.
who knows?
Let's go. I'm
Okay, so step 1, turn on the lighthouse. Roll a D100.
Okay.
Little
well,
do you
I'm
know
glad
that
it's
the-
not on the D100 table.
little do you know, the electrocution that happened in the past is what caused you to, appear in the future as an elf.
yeah.
That was the inciting.
This is the moment where all of a sudden Oak just disappears.
Yep.
Oh, God,
he just
Doc.
evaporates into nothing. Yep.
All right, what'd you get for a D100?
97. I got
rolled-
a 97.
So that you have to get within 25 on either side of what I rolled. I rolled an 89.
Yep. Oh, good.
Oak, what does it look like? You successfully turn on the lighthouse. You can describe your comedic or tragic 80s electrocution.
Nice. I am getting electrocuted because
Yes,
I had to be within 25.
Yes.
I got it. Yeah.
And not-
90,
You were-
97,
you
you got an
were-
80.
You were
Like
like
right
13
off the
away
edge.
or 11 or something like that away from what I rolled.
Yep. Okay. So I imagine that Oak is so concerned for his friend that he's not even watching where he's stepping. Right? So it's not like there's open wires or anything, but he puts his feet exactly where he did before. He does not it's almost like even though he's done these steps before, the adrenaline is causing him not to make the right steps.
I'm going to add
And
to
so
that.
I'm
going to add to that because Coop dumped his backpack all over the ground. A juice box? No, a juice box or something broke. And you are standing in liquid when you throw the switch.
Not my Capri Sun.
Yeah,
I'm standing in a Capri Sun.
Very sun.
No, it
I'm
smells
about
like,
to be
yeah,
like those. I'm about to
boiled
be like
strawberry
those
kiwi.
90s liquefying commercials where they just the children just liquefy into Capri
Oh,
Sun.
into liquid mercury, dude.
Yeah,
That's a callback. I
Yeah.
miss Capri Suns.
So, yeah, so you step into the ecto cooler or whatever it is, and
Ecto Cooler. I see.
Cooler was
hell
better.
yeah. And he'll just flip that switch and get
so there's very much a moment of as the lighthouse powers on. Laz, I need you to roll a brawn check with your bonus to move the lighthouse
Yep.
Fresnel lens towards the scene.
Okay, so I went ahead and rolled. My D8 brawn exploded for a total of 12.
Laz, you can go ahead and narrate it to however this happens. It is fully a success.
Okay. So he's already got the mechanism like unlocked or whatever that needs to happen kind of before this thing can actually pivot or swivel. And he's got like 1 foot on the ground and the other one kind of like on the wall, kind of bracing. And he's got both hands on one of the sides of the frame of this kind of lens. And he's pushing as hard as he can, almost completely horizontal, as he kind of like squeezes this thing as hard as he can around this pivoting point until he can kind of look up and check and see if it's pointed in the right direction. And he's kind of like shouting. He's like, now, do it now.
So, Coop. Damn it.
it happened. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's got to be a t-shirt too.
I want to get you both shirts that say
Yeah,
like
I'm-
that.
The
Coop,
crowd-
that's Oak. I'm Oak. That's Coop.
We'll
I'm
wear them
that's-
together when we see each other. It'll be perfect. It'll be
You
great.
do need
So-
to rearrange the overlay when we do that, Jake. FYI.
So
Oh, except you don't.
What kind of a check
Coop.
am I doing?
you have held up the silver bar and you're holding it in the light. What I think makes the most sense is I want a D100 roll because this is you're pulling shit out of your ass right now. The idea that you can reflect silver light off of a silver bar from a lighthouse, but you're also in a world where one of your friends has just turned into a werewolf. So
I feel like Coop's holding up the silver bar with 2 hands because he's got like noodle arms and it's heavy.
so
And that is a 70.
okay. All right, so I'm going to narrate something else while I'm in the back of my mind. I'm resolving this scene because I have an idea what your 70, how this is playing out. As we are going to jump down to the beach, where it's going to be Billy's turn. But this last thing that happens is, so you go ahead and describe, Coop, what you're doing, what it looks like as you're maneuvering this silver bar.
Coop's a little man. He's a little man, and I don't know how tall lighthouse lights normally are, but I imagine that he's got this silver bar, and he didn't realize how heavy it would be, so he's like, I've got it, and he's like doing this, and he's holding it up like Lion King, but he's got to stand on his little tippity toes also at the same time, and he's just kind of wiggling his arms and his body, trying to like position and refract the light, because he doesn't know what he's doing either.
And it's very much like if you've ever taken your watch, or I guess in modern day, taken your phone, and you're reflecting the sunlight off of it into somebody's eyes or something. You're taking this focus light of the lighthouse, and you're basically taking this silver bar and trying to create a hot spot within this light. The last thing I'm going to narrate that happens, and this is because of what happened with Oak. I'm going to narrate this, and then we're going to drop down to the beach. So be thinking about what you're going to do here, Billy. What action you want to take. Oak, as you are sort of shaking off the last sort of from the electrocution of throwing the switch, and as Coop, the lighthouse, Laz moves it into place, and Coop holds the bar up and is trying to get this thing going. The camera pans down to your feet, Oak, where this spilled juice, we still see this sort of electrical arcs, and we pan across to where that dodecahedron is. And as the electricity hits it, the dodecahedron, almost looking like molten chrome or mercury or something, starts to go, and it looks like it just melts into a puddle, and then it sort of reconfigures itself into a silver band that looks a lot like a watch band. And sitting in the middle of that silver band is a void black disc. This looks just like, anachronistically, it looks like an Apple Watch just showed up on the ground, to be fair.
Whoa!
That's what it looks
Star
like.
Trek.
It has completely reconfigured itself and is now lying at your feet. And this moment, you haven't noticed it yet. On the beach, as Billy, you are beginning to react after you've been thrown to the ground by Anne, you all notice, and Jessica in particular, because you're back away from this, you see this bright light as the lighthouse comes on, and you see the light sweep across the lake and target in on the scene, illuminating the scene in front of you of the three of them on the ground. And then, strangely, you see in the midst of that, a very concentrated silver white light seems to sort of be moving around, trying to hone in on Billy. Billy, before we resolve what the silver light does to you, what are you going to do on your turn?
He's pretty intent on his target, and even though Anne has kind of grabbed him, he wants to try and see if he can slip out of snake-like slither out of Anne's grasp. If he can do that, he wants to basically just bite down on Rosie's ankle and begin trying to pull her away.
Also, you may have noticed I brought up your health bars.
Fuck off with those life bars, man.
And Oak, because you did get electrocuted, you are now stressed. You've lost
Oak's
one.
hurting for certain.
You've lost 1 point of
For
health.
certain. God dang it, I love you.
So, it sounded to me like Billy is attempting to bite Rosie and pull her away. So that is going to be a fight versus brawn check.
Okay.
So Billy is going to roll.
fight.
Billy's going to roll fight, and Rosie, you're rolling brawn.
Okay. Hey. What did you get? You first.
I have an
Hairy
8.
bastard. I got an 11.
And what did you get, Billy?
8.
Billy, I would like to point out, you do in this form have access to domain pops.
Well, yes, but I feel like they represent heroic situations, kind of like, what inspiration is supposed to be. And I have to say at this moment, I'm the villain. So I don't feel that it would be in good flavor of the game for me fighting the rest of the party to be taking domain pops. It just doesn't seem
Judges,
I would go either way. I could take an argument either way. And Tomiko, you are muted, so nothing. has came
Passionately
through.
mute.
Oh, passionately muted.
Passionately muted.
I said, I am for the pops. You're not a villain. You're just misunderstood.
No, I think the pops are for the players, not for the player characters.
Still-
so I think
still
you
a
can use
player.
them however you want to use them. Rosie's
so
not gonna
once
fucking
again-
die here, Ted.
once
Do whatever
ag-
you want. It's character
once again,
development.
this goes then to however you interpret it, Ted. So if you want to use them, use
Yeah,
them. If you
I'm-
don't.
I'm good with leaving things
Okay.
as
I just wanted to make sure that you knew
Sure,
that you have
and-
access to them in this form.
I appreciate that. I appreciate those that weighed in. If there's something that I feel like becomes like a crux moment and its pinnacle would be an awesome story moment, I don't think this particular action is that. So don't
Excellent.
need it.
Rosie, you are the victor in this situation. You go ahead and have full narrative control on how you avoid getting bitten.
Okay. So I imagine at this point, like as Rosie and Billy and Anne kind of have tumbled, at some point, I mean, Rosie still has it. Her bat is still in Billy's mouth.
No, I
And,
would have to
like-
let go of that in order to bite your leg.
Are
Oh,
you
yeah.
are you biting me or no? I thought you
No,
said
she
you
was
didn't.
she was trying. He was trying to bite you in the leg, so he
Yeah,
let
I
go
let
of
go
your
of
bat.
then
the
never
bat to
mind.
bite- Yeah,
Okay.
the viewpoint of
Tell
the
me
predator.
exactly. Yes.
So all right. So the viewpoint of the predator is there's too much going on. I need to grab my intended target and get away. So with you being tumbling on the ground, he wanted to just grab your ankle and charge away from everything.
Okay.
So he lets
So-
go of the bat to grab your ankle.
Wonderful. So I imagine Rosie's still on her ass, and as he like pulls away from the bat and like goes to bite, she just rears back and like rears her leg back and just tries to kick him in the face, or maybe does kick him in the face just to and like right in the snoot.
And
Sure.
And yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Is that it?
go ahead. That's all I had. I want to hear what.
So
what,
it's
Billy's
not a true
response is.
attack. It's just a narrative. You sort of, as he goes to bite,
Blocking.
you pull your bat back and you kick up at him, pushing him away from you. In doing so, you push him back into, and Jessica, you see this, where this big circle of the lighthouse light is on this scene. That bright silver white light in the middle, kind of moving around as Rosie kicks at Billy. It pushes him back into that focused beam of silver light. Billy lets out a howl of anguish and pain as the silver light hits your back. Billy, you are now stressed. And because you have the trait / flaw of aggressive, any of your flight, brawn, or fight checks will now be done with a +1 while you are stressed. Also, those of you on the beach notice this because of your close proximity to it. As the lighthouse light hits Billy and Anne, both of them, you can see they begin to fray around the edges. So what you are seeing is as the light is hitting them around the edges, they become hazy, and it almost looks like the very beginning of a Thanos snap. It's starting to
sees
sizzle
this
away.
from an entirely backlit stance. Like, so
Yeah.
cinematically, she's seeing this like from her spot on her aft, and like she sees like a very sharp outline at first, and then it gets blurry, and she just assumes that it's her vision, but obviously it's not.
Jessica, we are back to you as you see Anne and Billy starting to fray around the edges. And Billy has been wounded, apparently, and Rosie seems to be, for the most part, unharmed. Jessica, what are you going to do?
Okay. Jessica looks and sees that Anne and Billy are starting to fray, but Billy still needs to be contained and stopped. She remembers that she was able to... Does Jessica know that she can phase other people? I can't remember if we determined that she knew that she could, but she didn't know that she had done as much in the
Here's
car.
what you know.
Yeah.
You know that as you went through the vehicle, you did pull on some of the people and cause them to phase. What Jessica didn't see was the horrific result of what happened. Jessica didn't see that she killed those people. You do know that while phasing, you can sort of grab hold of, it's almost like an inertial pull, but you can sort of, in phased form, have an effect on the physical form of someone. Did that come through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
you're just
So
thinking.
I'm
All right, just
thinking.
making sure.
Yeah.
I get paranoid
Yeah.
when people don't respond immediately.
No.
So, sorry. Jessica wants to take. Yeah, exactly. Jessica wants to take Billy and phase as much of him through the sand as she can, while telling Rosie to tell them to turn off the spotlight. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So she's gonna try and phase Billy through the sand.
So you go charging across, and you're going to charge at
Bury him.
Billy. This is going to be...
Sand puppy. Yeah.
This is going to
This
be...
is dark.
I think this is going to be... I'm trying to decide if it's going to be... What's your fight dice, Jessica?
D10 for fight.
And what's your brains die?
D6.
Okay. Billy, you are going to roll your brawn in defense. Jessica, you are going to roll your fight and your brains die.
And because of aggressive, I have a +1 to this now.
Yes.
You want them? Do you want them separately?
Nope. You're going to add them together.
I have an 11.
13.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Jessica, how far into the sand do you phase Billy's hands?
I imagine that, so I imagine that Jessica ran and kind of slid in. I like to think that Billy was kind of already on all fours, kind of very like animalistic kind of. So
Mm-hmm.
Jessica slides in, takes Billy's forearms and just like yanks them down. So she wants to go as far down until they're like almost like they're gonna like hit each other in the face as she's like pulling him down. So I would say that's probably like
Yeah,
up
exactly what I would
here.
have said.
Yeah.
So Billy, yeah, in your feral form, your hands, it's like when you go to put your hands on something, you think you're putting your hands on a solid table and you kind of miss, or maybe it was somebody put a tablecloth over cardboard instead. You go through, you suddenly fall forward and you find yourself buried in the sand up to your biceps. And you don't take injury from this. Because of the sand and the porous nature, you're basically buried at this point. But, Rosie, as we prepare for your turn, you see that as Jessica grabs hold of Billy's arms and does this, you see her arms sort of go almost translucent as she phases herself and Billy, and then she pulls her hands out. And Jessica, you see as you pull your hands back. Well, do you pull your hands back out? I should ask. Or are you holding him down in there?
No, she's holding
Okay.
she's holding him. Like
So
yeah.
what you see, Rosie, is Jessica and Billy are now up to their upper arms in the sand, almost face to face. And Jessica is also now fraying around the edges.
Oh shit.
You see like where her hair is and it's backlit. You just see like starting to wisp
Okay.
away.
Fuck. Okay. Is it my turn next? Is that
It is
are
your
we
turn.
here?
What do you do?
Was Rosie on deck, as they say?
Yep.
Okay. Here's what I want to do. Is part of Jessica solid? Is the rest of her body solid, or is it
Yeah.
just her arms? Okay.
Yep.
R-
Actually,
Rosie,
every
let's-
part of her
yeah.
that you can see is solid,
Okay.
except for the
Rosie
frayed
would
edges.
Okay. Oh fuck. Rosie would scramble to her feet and she would just start screaming. How far away is the lighthouse? If I were to holler up, would they hear me? Rosie has a coaching voice.
Because in the lighthouse, the light itself isn't making any more noise than like a humming. I'm going to say yes, you would be able to hear, they would be able to hear you up there.
So this is very out of character. Rosie drops her bat and she would just go and like bear hug Jessica and start pulling her out of this light and just start screaming. Kind of assuming Laz is up there and trusting him the most of anybody up there. No offense, Littles. She would just start screaming, Laz, turn off the light! Turn off the light! And she would just like keep pulling Jessica and screaming at the same time.
Jessica, as Rosie is attempting to pull on you, are you remaining fully, the part of you that's on the sand, are you remaining fully corporeal, or are you resisting her attempt to pull you away from Billy and sort of phasing out partway?
I feel like right now Jessica is a mess of like phasing in and out as she's like concentrating on keeping Billy's arms in the sand. So I imagine Rosie, as you're trying to grab at her, sometimes you can, sometimes she phases through, like it's
Like
tied
a
up.
hand goes through once in a while.
This is-
and Rosie
yeah.
would just like go around again. But
This is
like,
gonna
it's
be-
also very like, yeah, weird.
This is going to be a fight from Rosie versus Braun from Jessica. But I think you're going to have a -2 penalty because of Jessica's face. I can't even keep the imaginary person apart.
Wow, it's tough.
We
I'm
do look the
Rosie.
same.
I have so many people. Rosie, you are going to have a -2 to your roll in an attempt to stop
Okay.
because of her facing. So
Okay.
Fight from Rosie, brawn from Jessica.
I exploded. I got a 17 because I exploded once, and I got a D10.
Amazing.
That means that you are a full 11 points higher than Jessica.
Oh, so can I say one thing? I would, as like Rosie keeps like kind of missing Jessica a couple of times, she would kind of like realize that Jessica's kind of like like freaking out a little bit, and that's maybe why she's like doing what she's doing. And she would just be like, Jessica, chill out. Chillax, girlfriend. And then she would just finally, hopefully, get purchase, and then just freaking like with all of her strength, hopefully.
I think with the degree to which you succeeded, to your chagrin, Jessica, Rosie sort of figures out the phase cycle and grabs hold of you with all her might while you're solidified. There's an explosion of sand. Billy's arms will stay embedded in the sand up to the upper arm. But Jessica, you are pulled back away. And as the two of you tumble back away from the field of light, because of how powerful you were, Rosie, you basically grab her and the two of you tumble away out of the light. You see, as you pull Jessica out of the light, those sort of wisps seem to trail, almost like they're resisting, like cobwebs blowing in the wind. And then they sort of pull back to Jessica, and she is fully solidified. Anne is going to go when we come back from break. I think we're going to take our break now, as you have just successfully pulled Jessica out, and the kids up in the lighthouse. That scene where you're yelling, "Lads, turn it off, turn it off." We cut briefly to the lighthouse kids, and you can just hear that sort of, "Lads, turn it off, turn it off." And then the two of you tumble out of the lighthouse, and Jessica sort of, in more than one way, sort of reconstitutes out of the light. And that's where we're going to go ahead and
Jessica pulls herself together.
Jessica pulls herself together. We're going to go ahead and take roughly a 10-minute break. Please stick around. We will be back for the exciting conclusion of episode 26, Teen Wolf. See you on the other side. And we are back. Okay. I believe
It's Anne's turn.
Anne was about to do something.
But to save the day.
So as Rosie, as you've just grabbed hold of Jessica and pulled her out of the light and are shouting up at the lighthouse kids, Anne rises up from behind where Billy is up to his upper arms in the sand. And Anne still, whether she's noticed it or not, as Anne moves, you see almost like a ghost trail behind her where she's fraying around the edges and wisping away. Anne looks over to you, Jessica, and you see her head turn to the sand in front of Billy, where Rosie threw her bat down in the sand. And Anne scrambles over to the bat and picks it up and is going to swing away at Billy's head.
Kill him.
This is
I'm
going
sorry,
to be
Ted.
this is going to be a fight versus brawn. And you are still at +1 because you are aggressive. Anne's fight. I just realized in my notes where I wrote the stats, I wrote Jessica. I can't even keep it straight in my notes. I'm like, why does it say Jessica?
Very fair.
I mean, one and the same, right? So Anne is rolling a d20 for her fight die. That's a jack die. Okay. I have Anne's number.
I have a 9.
Anne rolled a 17. Anne is the attacker. And is... That's what, 6 more?
8.
Wait, I can't math.
Yes, you can. I believe in you.
Okay.
Maybe you can't.
So, I was just looking at the narrative results because with Anne being the attacker, Anne grabs your bat, Rosie, and she seems to almost be moving in slow motion. She's wisping away from the light moving around her. And she just looks at you once again, Jessica, and you see her just take this bat, reel back, and with all her might swings it at Billy's head. There is an incredibly audible crack. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Last I heard was then she reels back.
She reels back and swings at Billy's head. Is what
She
I heard.
reels back, swings at Billy's head, and there is an incredibly audible cracking sound as she connects with your head, Billy.
Oh, good night.
As she hits Billy in the head with this bat, you hear this, like, I mean, it literally sounds like she just hit a home run. But you also see Billy's head where the light is grabbing wisps of Billy. It's almost like, not quite. I realized what I was about to say sounds really bad. It's similar to, but not as bad as if she had just hit a piñata. There's this sort of, Billy's head doesn't explode, but around the edges, it knocks loose some of Billy that's separating in the light. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it nonetheless. Billy, you are now injured. All of your high dice level stats are now at +2 in response. Billy, what is your response? What happens to Werewolf Billy when the bat connects? I'm going to give you full narrative control. You cannot change the outcome, but what is your reaction as you get hit by this bat?
I imagine that there is a massive snarl and an immediate head whips back and faces Anne. But that's based on my limited mobility because I'm still partially buried in the sand.
With that,
Given
go ahead.
Given the the injuries, I imagine it's triggering the fight or flight scenario, and I think Billy is the wolf form, if you will, is looking past in all the directions, doesn't fully understand what the light is, but I don't think it's something that he finds particularly comfortable. You said I let out a howl when I was hit by it, so he's looking for an exit. He's looking to get out.
Billy, building off of that, as happens when you hit your head or get hit in the head incredibly hard, there is a tremendous ringing in your ears. As you are casting around with this fight or flight, this feral need to now escape, that ringing in your ears intensifies and focuses. And you realize it's not a ringing in your ears. You are hearing a high-pitched whistling sound that is at a frequency only you in your dogman form would be able to hear. It is coming slightly from the north, but mostly from the east, beyond the South Bear Lake, beyond the lighthouse. And it is beckoning you.
Oh.
It is a sound as you hear it. It's a sound that seems to give you focus as you cast around and look for a direction in which to go. But as you turn your gaze and sort of focus in that direction, the camera follows your gaze and sort of rises up, and we can kind of hear this high-pitched dog whistle sound coming from beyond to the east and slightly north of the lighthouse. But we also see through the window of the lighthouse kids up there hearing moments ago where Rosie said, turn it off. And then you saw and heard as Anne cracked Werewolf Billy upside the head. Lighthouse kids, what are you doing?
Laz shouts to Oak to shut it down. And he is headed for the stairs. And how, like, are these narrow stairs?
I think we've established that it's the spiral stone staircase. And
Two people wide.
they're 2 people wide, 2 kids wide, basically.
Good remembering, Tamiko. Damn.
Okay.
I know
So-
we had a point of discussion about it because there was some question of whether they were metal or stone steps.
Okay. So in that case, Laz is going to head for the staircase, grab his skateboard, and he is going to grind down the handrail of the staircase all the way down.
Tubular.
What's your flight die?
My flight is a D6 +1.
Man, I want to say this is flight, but what's your brains die?
A
Is that
D8.
D4? Oh, D8. I'm gonna do another combo because you're combining a physical skill with your knowledge of how to do this. So I'm gonna have
Okay.
you do both flight and brains, and I'm going to say you're rolling a D6 and a D8.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this is a DC 10. This is a
Okay.
DC where a task where success is impressive, but sort of expected because it's something you're skilled at. Skateboarding. Did you explode on something?
Both of them exploded.
Oh
I have an
man!
8 and a 6.
So 14.
So then a 3 on the D8 to follow up, and a 3 on the D6 on both,
So a
Um,
total of
and then a-
20.
and then a +1 from the flight.
So a
being a
total of.
teenager.
So with a 10 plus success,
Legolas, this
the
bitch.
characters succeed smoothly and easily. Likely, it looks like the character's just showing off, or that the task is done so readily that it happens without any effort at all. Laz, tell us how you gleam the cube down these
Wow.
stairs. Talk about digging deep.
Yeah,
That might
I did
also be a
not-
90s movie, but I don't remember.
I
it
can
was
just
apt.
hear the Tony Hawk soundtrack right now.
Oh my god. Yeah. So Laz pulls off this like epic level competitive like slide, this grind down the inside of this lighthouse, and no one sees it.
Sparks fly.
Yeah, sparks are flying everywhere. Absolutely. He lands at the bottom of the stairs, sticks the landing on his board, and he shouts out, "Yeah!" And he looks around and realizes that there's literally no one who can see him.
And no one will.
There's
believe
like an
it.
immediate like deflation, and then he's like, "Oh, that's right, I'm doing something." And he starts immediately looking for. There was a coil of rope at one time, kind of piled up at the bottom. He's looking for that.
We have
You're looking for,
established,
like,
just
the-
as a reminder, we've established that the rope is decorative. and is part of the facade.
You're
That
right.
is something. Well, actually, you know what? Laz, you weren't there for that. You were in a comic book. So,
true.
Laz, you find the
Perfect.
coil of rope.
Perfect.
And when you go to grab
Like-
hold of it, you grab after this impressive skateboard trick down the
It's like a
lighthouse
fucking
rail.
putt-putt golf place.
You run over, you grab this coil of rope, and you kind of it doesn't move. It's attached to this facade of a couple barrels and crates and the rope and lantern. And you actually, as you grab it, there's enough force there that causes the latch to spring, and the whole false door goes, revealing
Oh, there you go.
the green trap door with the brass handle in the floor on the other side.
We don't need to go there again.
So, Laz,
Womp womp.
with that impressive success, though, you in this turn, you were easily make it down to the bottom. Absolutely
Nice.
epic grind. I love the getting to the bottom, cheering, and then nobody's around, and then you're like, oh
shit.
wait. Absolutely love it. What about Oak and Coop? What are the two of you doing up there?
As soon as Laz says, wait, am I muted? No.
Nope.
As soon as Laz says, shut it down, Coop startles and drops the silver bar.
He startles.
I love
There's a
it,
loud
though. I love
metallic clang.
Clank a clank. Shit.
it. Clang, clang, clang goes the trolley.
Clang, clang,
And,
clang goes the bell.
Which means, hold on one second, Oak.
Mhm.
Coop, as you startle and drop it, as you look down to where it falls, you see lying on the ground next to it, not sure where it came from, but you see a small silver watch with a void black face lying on the
heck
floor
is
next to it.
this? I don't know. Coop picks up the silver bar, throws it in his backpack. A couple of the things he didn't get in there before, throws them in his backpack too, and picks up the watch thing. What is this? Smacks it on his wrist.
And it absolutely reacts like a slap bracelet.
Yeah.
As you hit it against your wrist,
Oh,
it goes
oh.
boom,
Kitchen.
and the silver band actually connects to the other side and fuses.
Oh,
Oh, good. Cursed item. Okay, so
You're fucked.
and
So
then
chose
we're
to
covering
do it, not
Coop's
me.
superpower.
he half zips his backpack up, gets it, and goes, "Come on, Oak, we've gotta go."
Yeah, Oak's just ready to cheese it. Like, he's gonna follow and gather all his things and go with. Yeah, right. And he'll just get everything together. And then I think we're both scrambling at like half speed to get down these stairs. Meanwhile, we hear Laz just cheering. Yeah.
So, interesting thing about this. Coop, you have just... Would you say that Coop is thinking only about getting down the stairs as quickly as possible?
Yes, but carefully.
That's fine.
So it's like, the watching corgis walk downstairs.
What
right?
happens is, as the two of you turn to go down the stairs, and Oak, you fling open the door. From Coop, from your perspective, you turn, Oak opens the door and waits for you to go through. You go carefully running down the stairs, and as you get to the bottom of the stairs, you see the very tail end of Laz's celebration and disappointment, and see him turn, grab the rope, and start to pull on it. Oak, from your perspective, you open the door, and Coop goes, phew, is a blur, and all of a sudden, seconds after you do your impressive trick, Laz, Coop is just standing there at the bottom of the stairs. And his hair is pulled back like a 80-mile-an-hour wind just blew in his face. And Coop,
Oh, Coop, hey. Man, you just missed it. But that rope's fake. But I gotta try to find something to try to tie up Billy with.
I don't have anything.
Coop, how does Coop react to roller coasters? Love them, hate them, get sick?
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
I actually think Coop likes roller coasters. Just
You
roller
feel-
coasters don't like Coop.
The sensation you have, and you can do with this what you will, when you appear at the bottom of the stairs is as if you just got off of, let's see, this is the 1980 something. You just got off the
zipper?
The Beast.
I don't think the Beast was around in 80 something. Are you are you going Michigan
What was
Adventure?
the one from
Kings Island.
Encino Man?
No, well, I'm thinking of Michigan based or Michigan adjacent theme parks.
I can't help you then.
Well, all right, Carrie will tell us.
But Coop's like, wow, Liz, I saw. Whoa.
What level of thing do you want from there? Because I already have it up. Shivering Timbers.
1979, the Beast existed.
Okay. So yeah, it'd be just like just getting off of the Beast. You feel like you just rode the full couple minute ride, and with every twist, turn, and rapid acceleration and deceleration.
Whoa, that was cool, Liz. I can't help. I've
You okay?
I've got to sit down.
Also,
Did you?
Oak, did anybody actually turn off the lighthouse?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I would have turned off the lighthouse.
Okay, just
if
making
Laz
sure.
Told me to turn, yeah, if Laz told me, I don't leave lights on in rooms. Excuse me. I was raised by a good mother. I don't leave lights on in
I
rooms.
wasn't raised in no barn.
Hey, you close the doors, you turn off the lights, you save electricity. Goodness gracious.
God, you probably close cupboards too, don't you?
I do. Because my mama taught me right. Okay. Yeah, and I think that definitely gonna have to get some rubber boots for Oak, because like the boy's been electrocuted twice now. So he, I think, has gotten to the bottom of the stairs, and I think he catches maybe the tail end of you having that conversation about we got to find something to tie up Billy. And I'm trying to rack my brain with what we can tie him up with. But I think all of us now get out the door.
So the doors
Get out.
open. You now see out on the beach. You see Rosie and Jessica where they've just kind of pulled apart. You see Anne standing there. Everything is now illuminated only by the moonlight. Anne is holding onto the baseball bat. Billy, blood is running down the side of his wolf head, and he's looking around, and his head is, for all intents and purposes, it looks like he has just locked eyes on the three of you. Billy, as we go into your turn, with your werewolf form and the light of the moon, you can see all around you as if it were almost as if it were daytime. And you see, especially now that the lighthouse light has gone out, you see eight pairs of yellow eyes glowing from, or sorry, 8 total. 4 pairs of yellow eyes glowing from the dune grass and brush just behind the lighthouse.
Uh-oh.
The same direction from which you hear that dog whistle sound.
Uh-oh.
All right, so you said like to the northeast. So I pulled up the map. So like off towards where like the lake is.
Right now, it's just to the north side of the lighthouse. It's coming from the same direction, but beyond where these figures are with the glowing yellow eyes. And I will even add in, with your heightened senses, you smell familiarity. You smell.
I'm gonna try and move in that direction.
Make me a brawn check. You have +2 because you are injured.
Injured, yep. 21.
There is an explosion of sand as you rip your arms out from where Jessica had pulled you down in. And as you pull out, looking in your feral form, not really making sense of it, but in the moonlight, Jessica, you can see that while Billy's forearms, the fur is all matted down with the wet sand, some of it appears to almost be like it's embedded in the skin texture, like almost like sandpaper.
Oh.
You rip your arms out, and you now are free to run in that direction if you wish.
Yep.
You watch as Billy turns as soon as his arms break free and begins loping towards, quite frankly, kids, looks like he's running right at you. And at the last second, Billy veers and just lopes past the lighthouse. And the three of you see what the others can't because they're just a little too far away. As Billy runs up the dune towards the South Bear Lake, you see Billy join 4 other werewolf figures. You hear all 5 of them howl at the moon. Billy, you can add to this if you want. I'm just going to throw a little extra narration in here. Billy turns back towards all of you, and you hear sort of almost a plaintive whine. The other wolves all howl, and Billy joins in with their chorus before all of them turn and lope off into the darkness.
Yep, that works.
That's fine. That's plenty.
At this point, I'm going to pull us out of this initiative order. What would the rest of you like to do as Billy disappears with a whole bunch of other wolves?
I imagine Rosie's kind of like rolled up on her like elbow and is like laying kind of on her side and on her stomach and like kind of looking at him go. And then like when he's gone, she kind of just like rolls onto her back again and is just like laying on her back in the sand. And Em mentioned the scene. I imagine this is a pretty good mirror to the scene of Rosie and Jessica laying in the sun. It's like exactly the opposite in a much more tense situation. And Rosie is just like laying there on her back, and she would just kind of like be looking at the moon resentfully and just says to Jessica, like, "Are you okay?" Doesn't really look over at her, but just is asking.
I imagine if we see the camera from up above, neither Jessica or Rosie are really looking at each other, just like kind of up into nothingness of just like eyes wide.
Mm-hmm.
In a callback to something you mentioned earlier, it is a shot-for-shot match to the scene where the two of you were laying in the sun on the beach together, except now you're laying there post-combat.
If this were a Netflix special, people would be analyzing it going, "Oh."
Yeah.
Jessica.
What's... Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just...
As you're laying there in the moonlight, you see wisps of what looks like almost cobwebs floating above you. And you realize that the parts of you that were starting to fray around the edges, they haven't reconnected to you. They're trailing away from you like wisps of cotton candy. But they are all trailing away from you in the same direction Billy ran. Anne comes walking over, carrying your bat, Rosie. And you see Anne holding her hand, turning it over like this, and she kind of holds her hand and points in that direction, and you see trailing off of her fingers the same wisps, and they seem to join in with yours, Jessica, and they're all pointing in that same direction, and you actually feel a little tugging, a little bit of a pull. Something is pulling you in that direction. And without looking at you, Anne just hands you the bat, Rosie. Where you're laying down, you just see from your perspective as the bat's just sort of handed towards you. And you can't help but notice there's a splash of blood and fur right next to the Louisville Slugger logo.
Laz comes like running up. Oh shit, are you all okay?
Yeah. I think we're all fine. Rosie just kind of is like, she takes her bat and like sets it off to the side and doesn't want to look at it right now. Like, it's not good. It's not good. She's just kind of laying there and just like, yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, what happened? Did he bite one of y'all?
Yeah, is everybody okay? Check for bite marks. Make sure everybody's okay.
We're not bit. I don't think. Anne, did you get bit?
No. He was trying to bite you.
I know.
He's not the only one.
What do you mean?
What?
There were other werewolves. He joined up with them, and they all like howled and they ran off together, like a pack.
Oh no!
Fucking music cue.
Perfect.
Didn't even plan that.
And Rosie's just kind of still laying on her back, and eventually she would kind of sit up, and she just kind of has her like elbows on her knees and is just kind of looking out at the water now, which is like reflecting this pretty bright light of the moon. And she looks over at Jessica and just says, "Thanks for trying to help." And she looks at Anne and says, "You too. Transferable thanks."
You see Anne is kind of distracted as she says, yeah, no problem. Jessica. And she just kind of holds her hand up for you to see, Jessica, what you've already noticed. And she just gives you, this is that twin / doppelganger, whatever you want to call it, sort of communication. She's looking at you in a way that's saying both, I'm scared and I don't know what this is, and almost looking pleadingly at you for an explanation.
Yeah, Anne looks to Jessica and does not get any answers, or just sees almost a mirrored expression of, well, I'm looking for answers from you, but...
Would Oak be able to see the two of them and like this incorporealness at
Yes.
all? I'm just...
Everybody that's looking at them can now see it.
Oh my god! Look, I thought that doing that was just gonna daze him, just gonna stop him. I didn't know that. Did I hurt y'all?
You didn't.
Did we hit him? Did we accidentally hit you? He says, looking at Anne.
I don't think we should mess around with that lighthouse anymore.
Hey, we can fix this though. We can fix it. I don't know how yet, but we can fix it. Okay?
Does it seem to be getting worse? Like, as we're looking at the two of them, is it like, are they still drifting away or no?
Are you taking a closer look?
Yeah. I mean, Oak would, yeah.
Yeah, as you guys get closer.
He's curious about it, but also, like, kind of, he feels guilty too, right? Like,
as you get closer, it's happening on a very small scale, like an atomic level, but just as if you pulled on a loose thread on a sweater. it looks as if Jessica and Anne are unraveling. The very tipmost portions of their fingers are starting to come undone. And it's in a display of, as I said, it's like at an atomic level. It's like atoms separating. You're not seeing like in a grotesque way, like it's not gory or anything like that. As this is happening and you're all looking at this, Coop, you hear in your head, Coop,
God?
are you... it's Persephone.
Hi. Where are you? Did you get back to your body?
We're right here. What are you talking about? Back to our body. Is he saying this out loud, I assume? And we are confused because
I think we established that Coop communicates telepathically out loud.
Okay, I couldn't remember. He's actually
Unless
talking.
Tamiko says otherwise, but I think
It's
that...
just that thing where
Telepathically,
Coop
but he's
goes
also
still and
speaking
looks
outwardly.
constipated again.
Okay, never mind. I forgot.
Um,
Sorry.
I did. And then... I don't know how to explain it. You need to come. All of you.
Are you with the Seven?
No. I left them.
Where'd you go?
I think... Unless I'm wrong, there should be a very obvious sign from some of you what direction you need to go.
Like the mist fuzz that's streaming off of Jessica and Anne?
I was right. Good. But not good. Also, that's bad. If it's happening to them, you need to come fast.
Okay, follow the fuzz.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming. And
Jessica's like looking at her fingertips and she's like, "Ugh, I just like painted these. And she's like, her fingertips are disappearing. I really like that color.
That's the Jessica we know and
It
love.
was expensive. I did 3 coats.
Persephone called me. She's back, but she left the Seven, and she wants us to meet her someplace. She says it's important, and she seems to know what's going on with this. He's pointing at the mist fuzz.
Where
Can
did
she
she say
fix it?
she was? Yeah.
I think so. She said that the mist fuzz is going to be directing us where we're supposed to be going, so we have to follow it.
Rosie looks concerned at Laz, kind of having seen the direction Billy ran off to, and that the.
I
mist
was
fuzz
actually
is
just
going
getting ready to mention that. I mean,
Oh.
you're talking about the same fuzz that was following the wolf boys back there?
In response,
Because I'm
off in
pretty
that
sure-
direction, you hear a sound of wolves howling.
Rosie looks concerned over at Laz.
Well, I mean, look, we ran them off one time, right? If this is just gonna keep happening, we gotta get there.
Okay. Yeah, but we could barely. Hold on, wait a minute. We could barely defend ourselves against one. We're about to go against what? How many? 4, 5?
We might not run into him. You don't know that we will. And we have to. What? The alternative is just to let Jessica and Anne poof away.
I don't want that either, but I don't.
Look, I'm not normally really smart about these things, but I figure if they wanted to attack and eat us, they would have done it while they were still on the beach.
Well, they fucking tried, Coop. Well, one of them did. But that's not the point. We don't have a choice. We have to go. We have to go because I owe Jessica and I owe Anne too. And I'm going.
There is another option. I
Yeah.
don't know how far away this place is, but that trap door in the lighthouse is still there.
So
We could always try going through there and come out the other side and then get our compass heading after that.
okay, time out. This is Carrie. Did that took us back in time, right? That was the time portal door.
When the one time you went
presumably-
through it, you went 100 years in the past.
Yeah, we went back in time 100 years in the past.
But have we established that passing through the doors always does this, like the same door always does the same thing?
You've
We've
only
never
been through
tried
the
that
door
yet.
one time.
We
We've
haven't
never
established
tried
that.
That's a fair point though, because we don't.
We don't know. I would shrug and I'd be like, I mean, I get it, Laz. We could
But we
always throw a Hail Mary, but
We don't even know where we're going, though. And is it safe to go through any of the doors with them in that condition?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Probably
That's a
not.
good point, Coop. Thanks.
Everybody roll a brains check.
Yep.
Oh God.
Brains
Rosie's
check
best
time, baby.
thing.
Let's go.
Rosie's so smart.
Sure,
I
let's
don't-
see what. Oh, that's great.
Ray, it's
Five.
safe to say you don't want a brains check from me.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, everybody but Wolf Boy.
Everybody but Wolf Ted.
I'm not
Right,
looking for a pass or
uh,
fail here. I'm looking for the highest number.
got a
Let's see.
5.
I got a 16, my guy.
God bless America. God damn it, Jessica.
Something-
God damn it.
Something.
She's still looking at her nails.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's not just
Mm.
something occurs to you, Oak. Most all of you, if not all of you, I don't remember who all did it, but you tried on the sunglasses that detect the ley lines.
Coop
And the
tried on
nexus
sunglasses.
points.
Coop is our
And-
our resident.
You think maybe that it could also give you a clearer view of what's happening to Jessica and Anne.
Oh, right.
Oak in that moment just stops. His mouth opens up agape. Coop, glasses me.
Sure, you've got it. And he hands you the glasses. I don't know why Coop always reaches in like he's reaching into a fucking blazer, but here we are.
That's badass.
In my head
I like-
canon
Listen.
now, Coop is wearing a private
Photography
school
vest.
blazer.
Oh.
Private school blazer.
Yes.
That's just a bag of holding because it has everything in it. It's just a bag of holding blazer. Clearly, Coop has taken like the magic course that you get out of the back of a magazine.
That
Yeah.
is adorable. Amazing.
Oak puts on the shades, and then what do I see? What do I see?
You do see the bright spot that is the lighthouse nexus point, and you see the ley lines. You see wispy ghost trails of where Billy, the werewolf, was. And you see the path he took. You see these wispy ghost trails of where he connected with the others and they disappeared into the darkness. But you also see where these tendrils in the moonlight appear to just go a few feet and sort of trail off in that way. When you put the glasses on, you see that these tendrils connect and glow and are trailing off in that same direction. And you can faintly see from a couple other points in town similar wispy light trails And they're all going towards the same nexus point in the distance where the Stapler house is.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it. I knew it, you
It is
bastard.
time.
Damn it.
So
Yes.
what I need from you is I need you all to make a determination. Are you or are you not going to follow Persephone's directions and follow the wisps?
Yes. I am voting for follow the wisps.
We're following the whispers. The
Same.
wonderful whispers of
Has anybody told Coop where they're leading, or are we just following wisps?
I am
'Cause
going to
he's all
I'm going to
about
take I'm going to
following
take
the
a
wisps.
creative liberties of switching into a narration because we are nearing the end of the stream
Yeah. Awesome.
with that revelation, and we sort of what we see is the camera sort of pan up and we see where all the nexus points are, but we see that the brightest nexus point is where the Stapler house is on the map. And we do see half a dozen other wispy phrases, or not phrases, phasings, these wisps from around town, all converging.
Surrender, Dorothy.
And then we cut to the camera panning down from on high as we see Laz on his skateboard and the others of you on your bikes riding down a single long lane that is lit by antique gas type street lamps, interspersed so you're periodically being illuminated by this sort of orangish, almost like a vapor light. And then we see as the camera rotates around and we see you all pull up to, as we emerge from this canopy of trees, this massive Victorian Queen Anne style house with a single turret rising up like a tower. The moon, which had been high in the sky, is settling down low, and in the magnification of the horizon is now behind the house, creating almost a silhouette. And we see next to you, where you all pull up, from the shadows emerges Persephone, and she just walks over to stand next to you all as you look up at the Stapler house, and you see on the very top of the house what looked like silhouettes of the decorations, maybe gargoyles or crenellations. They all sort of separate, and you see 5 wolf man-like figures standing at the peak of the house. They all 5 tilt their heads back to the sky, howling loudly at the full moon. And in the distance we hear the low rumble of thunder. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Oh my god, that
Next
couldn't
week
be any more Halloween-y if you
will
wanted
be
it to be.
our, on the 26th, will be Kids on Bikes Halloween special,
Yay.
taking place at the Stapler house.
Oh my
Cannot
god. Wow.
I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a little bit different pacing wise of a session. Remember, as we are going into this, and I'll have these up here, but I just because I don't want to worry you guys too much, I will remove them from the screen. But Billy, in your wolf form, you are injured, and Oak, you are stressed. I have to look up. There is a mechanical representation for you for what stressed is. But you have to basically rest. Actually, I take that back. Oak. Enough time will have passed. Let me go ahead and bring this back up real quick. You are a kid. You have, for free, the quick healing feat. Or feature.
Hey.
Which, on the slightly on the downside, for a system that has no hit points and no clear definition of wounds, quick healing is never fully explained. So I'm saying you are no longer stressed. This is one of those moments where enough time passes that you sort of get over that. and you're feeling much better
Your
now.
bike ride was very zen.
Yes, it was.
I will.
Mechanically, I'm not stressed. Emotionally,
Right.
through the roof.
And Billy, I'm going to knock you up to stressed. By the time we get into those events, you will have healed because you also have quick healing, I believe, as a feature.
And in a shocking twist, Rosie is fine.
Yeah.
This is just fine.
You know what was purely
No damage.
what was amazing, given that you were dealing with a werewolf, and when Billy said he was going to bite you, it was, I think Jeremy in the chat was like, bite? And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Werewolf bites. Like, oh, this could get a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
I was
thought
looking
gonna
at
get
it
real
from
interesting.
just an animal perspective of like, all right, if the dice have determined that Rosie is my prey, I'm outnumbered.
singular.
So if you just grab what you're looking for and you run. So like, I was just trying to do what I felt was the most,
Yeah.
animalistic and base actions. The dice certainly did not support anything I was trying to do. But like as a player, I'm here for it because like I certainly wouldn't want anything bad to happen to Rosie. So like whatever the story goes is whatever the story goes.
I absolutely wanted to be able to get you guys to the Stapler House by the end of the session so that we could have a Stapler House Halloween. But also, I'm like, I mean, it is your guys' world. You can do what you want. And so I'm rapidly trying to make adjustments when Jeremy's like, so what if we go through the hole in the floor and travel back in time? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. That's my Laz impression.
Yep.
Laz,
That's
my Laz is
spot
Andrew
on.
Dice Clay.
Spot on.
Hey, let's go to the hole in the lighthouse. Let's see where it takes us. Hey.
Hey.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun with
was
it.
great.
Absolutely.
Kind of, it is one of the things I love about this system is because it is a narrative heavy, mechanics light system. There's a lot of room to play around with it and sort of make it our own. And I felt like using this sort of flight-based initiative and doing a little bit of focused initiative. We'll use it sparingly, but there are times where it makes sense to do that. It gives you a chance to be more deliberate in reacting in a scene and, working together and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. So next week will be our Halloween episode. Halloween costumes are not required, but are highly
hate dressing
encouraged. Yeah, you absolutely hate it. So don't feel pressured if you don't want to dress up. I usually forget until the last minute, and I have to go to Chicago for 2 days before our game, so I might forget. So I usually end up coming in. I think last year, this was my Halloween costume. You get a mask from me at the beginning of the game. Also, a couple years ago, my Halloween costume was a werewolf mask.
There you go.
But yeah, we'll
Remember that one.
be planning on some classic haunted house type stuff, and because of our setting, I'm not looking at, hey, we got to wrap this all up in one session. You guys could end up being in the Stapler House for a couple sessions. It just starts on Halloween. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so thanks everybody who tuned in. Thank you, of course, as always, to everybody who joins in with the bits and the subs and gift subs and all that stuff. We greatly appreciate that. And look at the stack of domain tomes or
They
domain
keep
pops.
us from dying.
Yes. I'm excited to see what happens next and to continue happening with these kids in 1980 something Paradise, Michigan. Let's see. Our next game that you can tune in to catch will be, barring any sudden back injuries or anything else like that. It's been a couple weeks, but Scribes and Scrolls should
just need
be
to be a
returning on Monday. So hopefully we'll see you there. Otherwise, you can head over to YouTube, catch all our VODs. If you're somebody that likes to watch later on the VODs, and you don't get to participate in the live chat, just know that we appreciate that you're taking the time and watching the show. Leave your comments. Tell us what you thought. I love reading people's takes on and theories on what's happening. Plus, it gives me ideas. And
Don't feed him.
absolutely, don't listen to Carrie. And if you're somebody that likes to, lurk quietly in the chat while we're running these games, we appreciate you all the same. Jeremy, can you throw in the Discord link, ! Discord? We'd love to have you join us in Discord if you're not there already. I think we've got a wonderful community of people there in Discord. Right now, the hot topics are the Baldur's Gate 3 sub rooms, but we have rooms for looking for games. There's a place where you can promote your own channels and games. Crafting, miniature painting.
You can watch Tomiko drop Twitch clips in every...
We have public Discords for every one of our games so that Tomiko shares clips in there and others do as well, and you can share your own clips if you want to do that as well. But yeah, come on, join us at Discord. We'd love to have you in the MTD community. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say a final and tremendous thank you, as always, to these amazing players. I so look forward to Thursdays every week, getting to hang out with these amazing friends of mine and seeing what kind of weird stories we can tell together. I love our mix of action and true, genuine moments, but also peppering in just all the laughter and jokes and all that stuff. So I absolutely adore and love all of you guys. Thank you, Chad, Tomiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and Em, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this game, the stream, the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want. Put the bunny back.